In this first video, we are going to do some resin casting. Resin casting is using molds, such as these silicone molds, with our UV resin to create pieces. In this instance, we're going to be creating some post earrings and some pendants. These are very simple to do, and I think that you'll enjoy the outcome. So first, we're going to put on our gloves. You want to select the molds that you're going to be using today. We're not using exact measurements today. We're definitely just going to eyeball this. But if you are the type of person that prefers exact measurements, what I would suggest is that you fill your mold with water and then pour that into one of your measuring cups. And then you can see how much water is in that so that you know how much resin. We are using UV resin today. If you read the bottle, you'll see that there's no mixing required, which is awesome. And if you take a look at the instructions, with this particular UV resin that we're using, it says to cure it with the UV lamp for 5 to 10 minutes. And if you're going to cure it in the sunlight, it recommends 35 to 60 minutes. So this is different for different UV resins. The ones that I typically use, you just have to cure in the sun for 20 minutes. So I would say definitely do at least 20 minutes or more. We're going to do 2 pendants. And we're going to put one in the sun, and we're going to leave one. We're going to do one with our lamp so that you can see how that works. So I'm going to take my plastic mat, and I'm sitting it on top of this. This is a shoebox lid. I'm sitting it on top of this because I want to make it easier to carry this outside later. So I've just put all my molds on the mat. This one, I'm going to next decide what my inclusions are. So for this one, I think I'm just going to add some fruit and keep it clear. And then for this one, I think I want to add some purple pinkish glitter to it for fun. So I'm going to start with this one right here. All I'm going to do is take my resin, and I'm going to, and I want that bubble to go in there. Okay, there we go. I'm going to put some clear resin into my mold, okay? And then I'm going to spread this out to make sure that it reaches all the corners. Now, there's my fruit. I don't know if it'll focus for you. I'm just going to sprinkle some of my fruits in there, or a lot of them. Then I'm going to take my stick and just kind of move them around to where I might want them to go. I know I don't want any standing straight up, so I've got to get that one down. Now, when we're curing with the UV lamp, they recommend that we do it in layers, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this under my lamp over here. And I'm going to turn that on just like that. Some tips for helping with this process: you can put a piece of foil over it so that the light will stay concentrated, or you could put a box over top just to keep the light, you know, from shining in your eyes. So I'm gonna let that go for a couple minutes and then we'll come back to it. So for the rest of my molds, I'm gonna do the glitter. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour, and again, we're estimating here, right? We're estimating. I'm gonna do about 5 milliliters in my cup. A little bit more. Hopefully this is enough. If it's not, that's okay. I'll just top it off with some clear. All right, so next I'm gonna add some glitter. And you can just use the end of a popsicle stick. So this side does have resin on it, so I'm gonna use the dry side. And I'm just gonna scoop it in there and drop some glitter. Now, there's no recipe here, so you can use as little or as much as you want, okay? I did 3 scoops. So now I'm going to go ahead and mix this in. Ooh, glittery. And then once I finish, I'm going to start with my earrings. They're really small, so they don't take a lot. Like, I actually think I'm going to use my popsicle stick, and I'm just going to try to drip it in. And it's like maybe 3 drops. Yeah, there was like 2.5 drops. We want them to be full, but we don't want them to be like overflowing, right? Okay. And then for the pendant, I'm just going to pour what's left into my pendant mold. Okay. Now this is not going to get hard or anything until it's activated by the sunlight. And then on for another resolution. So what we're going to do is we're going to let that sit to the side for a couple minutes so that we can see if any air bubbles decide to surface. Okay? And if air bubbles surface, we will use our toothpicks to try to get them out. You can also try your heat tool if you have a heat tool, or a torch lighter, but you got to be really careful with the torch lighter. You don't want to touch the silicone mold with the torch lighter or it will just melt and you'll have a mess on your hands. So I prefer, when I'm using these small silicone molds, I prefer to just go ahead and use my toothpick. All right. So that's 2 revolutions. I don't want to touch it because I don't want to get a fingerprint and it could still be sticky. I am going to turn it over. Okay, it kind of looks okay on the bottom. I was looking for soft spots, but at this point, I'm just going to add more clear. I know because I cured this for a couple minutes, I know that this fruit is not going to move when I add this clear resin to it. So I'm just going to finish it up with clear. Build it up. So again, the bottle says that we have to cure it for 5 to 10 minutes. This lamp goes for 60 seconds. Okay, so it's been 2 minutes. So I'm just going to go in with a toothpick, and if I see any bubbles, I'm just going to try to either drag them out to the edge and drag them off, or try to pop them. So I'm going to go ahead and set these outside. All right, so let's check out our pendant. This is the one that we put out in the sun. Feels good. So to take it out, you're just gonna pull the mold away from the piece. Oh, we're good. Let's check out the one that we did with the lamp. Okay. There we go. So that one's good. Okay, so this is the jump ring. And you should have pliers and a jump ring opener. We're gonna do, so we're gonna take our pliers. Okay, this is still fine. And I'm gonna hold my jump ring. The slit is gonna be at the top, and I'm gonna hold my jump ring on one side firmly with these pliers. And then I'm gonna take this ring, I'm gonna stick the other side in. Okay, so the ring is at the tip of my finger, and I'm literally just sticking the top in. And then I'm gonna pull the ring towards me and push the pliers away from me. Okay, so it's like a twisting motion, one forward, one back. And you see what that did? That opens the jump ring. You never want to open the jump ring this way because that impacts the integrity. You always want to do it just ever so slightly front and back. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my jump ring, take my pendant, I'm gonna find the hole, that is thick. Once you get it through, it's thick. You're basically going to reverse the process. So I'm going to hold one side of my jump ring. Woo. You're only using this ring for leverage. So you kind of want to rock it. There we go. Till it meets back up. You just want to keep opening and closing it a little bit until it meets back up. Okay, just rocking it back and forth. And now you can just put a chain through there. Put a chain right through there, and now you have a pendant. The other option is to use one of these clamp bails. To use this, put your pliers in between there, and then you open it up like that. Okay, so you put your pliers in between, and then you just open them, and that will open this clamp bail. It should have 2 prongs on it. So you take your piece, find your holes. That one goes in that side, and then the other one's gonna go into the other side. And then, you know, you could actually, I actually just squeezed it with my fingers. But you clamp it down as much as you can. And voila! You have a pretty pendant. So next we need to do our earrings. Super small. Can you see them? Alright, so we unmold them the same way, but because they're so small, ooh. Okay, so these cure it all the way. Okay, they're so little, I don't know if you'll be able to see them. They're like little stones. So a lot of my glitter is sunk to the bottom, which gives it a really cool effect. If you have a dome on your earring, then you need to make the flat side the back. The flattest side should be the back of the earring. Okay. You're gonna take your you're gonna take 2 earring posts. Take your E6000 glue. Go ahead and open that up. Because these are so small, I'm gonna grab a toothpick. Get some E6000 glue. And I'm gonna put it on the post. Get some, let me see. I just don't want to have like a whole lot of glue. Okay, you can do it. You don't have to get the toothpick. All right, so put some glue on my post. And I'm literally just going to stick it to the back of my earring, like that, like so. I'm gonna wait to put these backs on. I'm gonna wait to put the backs on until they're dry. And E6000 glue, it should dry in a few hours, but if you want to make sure that you have a permanent hold, you want to let it dry for overnight, 24 hours. Okay, that's best to do. Come on, a little bit of glue, don't need a whole lot. Okay, so again, I'm putting glue on the back, and then I'm just dropping that onto the back of my, this is called a cast. We cast the resin in the mold, so to the back of my earring cast. Okay. So like I said, we'll just we're gonna let these dry overnight, and then we should have a pretty little pair of post earrings.